so glad I picked up these books today. Daredevil and the Fantastic Four, but man, oh man. Amazing Spider-Man Annual 1. I'm so glad I finally got this in my collection. First appearance of the Sinister Six.
This comic book sucks. Wish it was bigger and more expensive. I've got it! Dave?
You'll never get my comic books, Matty! West Coast Davengers, MMCOMICSALES.
You have no power here, Matty Marlin.
Hey!
Oh!
Ho! Welcome into another episode of the West Coast Avengers. I'm Dave, and this is
West Coast Avengers! MM Comic taking over the West Coast Avengers!
Well, welcome back to another week of the West Coast Avengers with my special guest, Matty Marlin of MMCOMICS. Wagwan! Don't forget to follow MMCOMICSALES on Instagram. I'll give you his address. We'll dox him, and you can follow him in real life. Also on Whatnot. It's been a great week. Matty flew down. Some of you might have seen we did a tag team live sale that blew up the internet.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it.
How has your week been digging wise?
It's been great. It's been great being here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, cheers, Fonz.
Cheers. Yeah, I love this area. I love having a great host to dig through the various treasures of the area scattered around this vast land of Seattle Town.
Good old Seattle Town. Founded in 1818, Seattle Town became Tacoma, roughly known as the dinosaur's anus in Swahili.
Wow. Not aware of that. Russell, were you aware of that? I was not aware.
Let's bring our mascots out.
Well, this is my spirit animal, Jabba.
Also have a spirit animal.
Oh, Annie! I'm a Jojo Binks, musical Jojo Binks. Misa Bombay.
He makes me cry.
Oh.
Just kidding, best friends.
So I did what I do best, and I took you around to all of my spots that I like to dig, my secret spot that we don't talk about. We didn't get to do any garage sales or flea markets because nothing really popped up, but we got ourselves in front of a couple of collections.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled the trigger on one of them, but that's for later for y'all. I figure it would be great if we just went through the stuff that you found, the stuff I found, and just talk about like why you bought what you bought.
We never really know why.
No, you're right. That's true. I mean, I don't know why I bought this book. And, I mean, I do. Like, here, we'll just get started out.
Go for it.
Tales to Astonish, number 52. This is the first appearance of the second Black Knight. Not Dane Whitman, but his name is...
his name is Luke Unusual.
Yeah, Luke Unusual, the Black Knight strikes. You can't go wrong buying Silver Age books. When it's a first appearance of a character that is kind of like in the zeitgeist right now, and people are talking about it, even though it's not the same guy.
A lot of people talking about the Black Knight.
But for one thing, they're not talking about Black Knight in context of Arthur Harrow. No, Arthur Harrow is the new Black Knight. You heard it here first, Spec Lords. Your gem mint collectible comic Tom type people. Arthur Harrow's coming for you. Arthur Harrow.
So that was a good pickup for me, just in the fact that like I don't feed into Spec, but it is a first appearance in Silver Age, so it's not Spec, it's Gold.
Okay.
Yeah. What'd you get?
Well, I picked up Hulk 111. He's in space. It's a cool cover, high grade issue, great price. I love me some Hulk books.
Especially Hulk in Space.
Hulk in Space, the new musical coming soon off Broadway. Yes, I love my Hulk covers. Tales to Astonish number 77. And this one, basically like Hulk shows up in this series. Submariner shows up in this series. Hercules shows up. Lots of cool stuff happens in Tales to Astonish. This is 79. Hulk and Herc battle cover.
Hulk smash.
This one I know because it says right here, first leader appearance. This was number 62. That's an early Hulk appearance in the run.
Leader's the guy with the big brain. He's like, I'm gonna get you, Hulk. And Hulk's like... It's a reenactment of that comic.
It's exactly what Hulk, that was dead on Hulk. And there's number 40, an earlier one of the run with just a dope ass Ant-Man cover that really jumped out at me and said,
Hi, I'm small, but I love you.
That's a fucking great Paul Rudd imitation. Speaking of small things, what about the big things like Godzilla? Oh. So this is Godzilla, King of the Monsters, number 1.
Oh no!
Oh, I am of the mind that not just
like your eyes just glazed over, just like, no.
Godzilla is a very underrated property when it comes to comics. You have the Marvel series, right? 1970s, probably 75, 76, somewhere around there. Maybe later, 79. And then Dark Horse picks up the property sometime in the late 80s, early 90s. Yes. Art Adams does all the fucking art for it. And I think it's just so badass. And I thought that was fun.
And I picked up a Sandman book. So this is the first appearance of Dead Boy Detectives in issue 25. And it's signed by Matt Wagner, who I like a lot, creator of Grendel. He was on this run. And there's a great shop.
You got that at Destiny City
I got
Comics.
this at Destiny City, where there's a lot of great signed books there, at least right now, and Sandman stuff.
Yeah, and we'll come to the big Sandman pickup that I got from there later, but I'll do these Sandman now. Sandman number 2. So just, I think there's a couple first appearances in here, but it's
probably
Sandman number 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't even need to worry. And then Sandman number 5, which is the first appearance of Merv Pumpkinhead.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a huge Sandman fan. I don't just like the song Enter Sandman. I like to sleep too, but I really like the comic book. And Neil Gaiman's one of my favorite authors. Actually, Neil Gaiman is my favorite author. It's no secret. There's a big pickup at the end that rolls back into Sandman. Now, I'm going to go to sleep while you do the next book.
Right, a couple of little indie pickups, and Dead Rabbit number 1, got this for $10. It replaced the copy I recently sold. It's just basically the recalled version of Dead Eyes, which is a series I really enjoyed, by Jerry Duggan. And that's the recalled version before they had to change the name. Paper Girls number 1, TV show is coming. It's coming, Arthur.
Wait.
And this is only $11. I don't know why. Maybe I'm going to open it up and it's like a snot rag.
It is a quality price at that price.
Yes. I like the price for the price.
And it's good when you pay a price that you like.
Yeah, prices are good.
Yeah, the price is right.
Yeah, when they're a good price that you like. Found this little stash of old Wizard mags, and I, as a huge Simpsons fan, had to pick up a couple copies of Wizard 28. Not as many as the shop let me pick up.
No, they let me pick up more, actually.
They're like, yeah, the Wizards are $1. And we're like, okay, great, we'll take all of these. And they're like, no. Looks like we're going to mark these up now.
Only one apiece.
Lame.
Anyway, speaking of the Simpsons, Matty was kind enough to find this and say, Dave, you should buy this.
Yeah.
Because it's a Radioactive Man number 1000, which I doubt they ever made it to the issue 1000.
I think they just jumped around randomly to big numbers.
A Todd McFarlane homage to Spawn number 1.
I wouldn't have picked up on it if not for the shape of the hand here.
See,
that's what gave it away.
I might not have picked up until I saw the scroll. Not the scroll.
Oh,
that's the McFarlane scroll.
Right.
And so it's a Radioactive Man Spawn 1 homage, and...
But I've already started hunting them on eBay because I want one now that I'm giving
you
that one.
For on eBay?
They're only like 8 to 15.
Okay.
But they're not a lot on there.
No, because
and no one calls out the Spawn homage.
That's so weird.
They don't get it.
Yeah.
This is gonna be big when people realize.
What happens is, like, when I show this, I'm gonna overlay the Spawn 1 right over your face.
Oh, good.
So here's the Spawn 1, and here's the Radioactive Man number 1000 Todd McFarlane Spawn 1 homage. See Todd, buy Todd. See Todd homage, buy Todd homage. Ancient Comics.
Thank you, Ancient Comics. They had a big stash of these things. A lot of static issues, including number 1 in both of these variants. So I picked up a few copies of each. They weren't like, dollar books. I paid up, but they were good prices.
They were good
attractive buys.
Yeah.
And I picked up a lot of the other random issues in the run that looked, high grade, cool covers, a couple of issue 2s, Not like anything crazy like the Mobius final issues or anything. But
Wait, Mobius did fucking covers on the final issues?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Put it up right here.
Okay, Mobius static. What's next there, Matty?
Well, it's a little bit goofy. Goofy success story. They were talking about their little golden age bin, and oh yeah, these golden age, they're flying out. Your golden age stash is dwindling or whatever is what they were saying, and it made me say, is it now? I want to go look in that golden age box. Yeah, and I picked up, I guess money was on my mind. Yeah, I don't know, I just like the cover. It's blue, it's in high grade, Goofy's loaded with cash. I thought it was a good buy.
It's that fucking blood Disney money.
You know, a lot of this trip, I've been not like checking comps on stuff that I buy. It looks like a good deal. I'm sort of following my gut, and I also think it's kind of tacky to like, is it really worth it? Like, right in the shop.
It depends on what shop you're in or what you're doing. Like, you know, we look up keys sometimes just to figure out what's what, but I don't really ever comp prices unless I'm going to spend a bunch.
Yeah.
Ancient Comics, Jeff, the guy that owns it, he's a little bit of an eccentric human being, but we get along. And so he hooks me up on books sometimes. But this is a Zap Comics #1, 3rd print. R. Crumb, just one of the most heralded, legendary underground comics to ever exist. Zap is at the top, or top 3. To walk away from Zap for a second and come to one of the greatest artists of all time, Richard Corbin. This is Anomaly. I guess this is an issue #4, an adults-only comic from Richard Corbin. Corbin, mostly in the underground, but then had the first time I had ever heard of him, he was doing a run on Hellboy. He did like a two issue mini on Hellboy, and then did like another 2, and I was reading Hellboy on the regular, and I was like, wow, this artist is interesting.
This sort of reminds me of like psychedelic rock covers or
Yep,
something.
he did a lot of psychedelic, a lot of, he was just part of that scene. Going back to R. Crumb, which brings me back to one of my ultimate pickups of the year so far. Zap Comics #0 by R. Crumb. The famous cover of the guy putting a live plug on his... It's open to interpretation. Also, very recently homaged by Jim Rugg for Red Room #1, Trigger Warnings. We'll put that overlay right there. We weren't sure if this was a first print. There are 17 printings of this.
Wow.
It's very hard to tell. I think I've gotten a 5th printing.
It took a little detective work.
Yeah.
Because the first 5 printings all have the same cover price, so it's limited to that range, we know. But the first printing has like a telltale little hair here on the print. That's absent.
But 2, 3, 4, and 5 have this like weird, very hard to spot difference. But either way, I'm stoked about it because it's one of those books that I'm sure I will find while digging in the Bay Area when I go down there. So show me the underground stuff you got.
Okay, well, I sort of just, like I said, at this particular moment, I was feeling like just kind of following my gut. I got the Goofy book, not underground, but a little bit outside of the realm of things I would normally get. Here's Middle Class Fantasies, which is sort of like an homage to like Golden Age, like romance or sort of pinup kind of stuff, but it's actually from the 70s, I think.
Yeah, it'd either be late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah. Middle Class Fantasies first issue. Just liked the cover and the vibe. And this was all from the same kind of oddball underground collection that he had recently picked, that the store owner had recently got. And he just recently priced these. So we were kind of probably first to kind of look through that stuff.
Because he had either priced it that morning or the night before.
Yeah, which is a good position to be in. This is Plunge into the Depths of Despair.
Sounds like a normal weekend for me.
Number 1 or 2. I don't think it has an issue number. It might be a one shot. But it's just like a fun... It's sort of like a This Is Fine, like guy burning in hell kind of a vibe. Yellow Dog Comics from the Print Mint. 1971. It's just sort of like a fun, like... I don't know, unusual pinup kind of a thing. I remember hearing that there's the person who runs Bird City Comics, Laura. She collects like blonde women covers.
Oh, okay.
She collects blonde women in her basement. So I was like, I bet you that if no one else, Laura from Bird City Comics would want this book. So the last thing I got from that little underground lot was Cocaine Comics. #1 from 1975. Who wouldn't want to own a Cocaine #1?
I would have bought it if I didn't already spend $100 at that store.
Yeah. it's cool.
Yeah, it's cocaine.
Neither of us do that kind of stuff anymore, but we can dream.
I love cocaine. I'm Dr. Roxo.
It's been a couple of weeks since I've found a book from our good friend, William the Sankster Sankiewicz. Bill
Sankiewicz, Sankowitz.
This is Venom #1 Lethal Protector. This is a new series. This is a Bill Sankiewicz variant cover. I don't even remember where I bought this. You were just like, Sankster. Stargazer for New Comic Book Day. And you were like, Dave, this is a Sankiewicz cover. And I'm like, Sankiewicz? And you're like, Sankiewicz. And I'm like, Sankiewicz? And you're like, Sankiewicz. And I'm like, Sankiewicz. Anyway, a beautiful cover from Bill Sankiewicz. Sankiewicz. And I just feel like, Bill, you got to come on this program. #Sankster, #West Coast Avengers.
This is like day 4 of living together. So
Yeah.
It's starting to be like, no, mind melder.
All right, show us your Nazis.
Well, here they are in Invaders #1, getting beat to pulp by the good boys from Marvel. $6 pickup, Invaders 1. Again, haven't taken it out of the bag yet, so we're just rolling the dice on the grade. But for $6,
Fuck it.
I'll just roll into this one, which was a Silver Surfer meets Stan Lee, or vice versa. Same shop pickup. This is one of the things that I didn't remember buying, and Dave didn't remember buying, so he just said, okay, you might as well just take it.
Yeah.
But I did buy a bunch of Silver Surfer that day, so it kind of makes sense. It went in the pile, but I'm filling the later number Volume 3 stuff, so that's a lot of the stuff I picked up as well. But this was the notable one because Silver Surfer was Stan's favorite character, don't you know?
What do you do when Silver Surfer's coming?
You got to go collect this! You got to go collect this! This was another one that Dave let me have. He pulled it. It was a Usagi Yojimbo Color Special #1, which I've never had before, for a nice price. And Dave had bigger fish to fry.
I do have bigger fish to fry when it comes to Usagi, but I took Mr. Matthew to Fantagraphics in Georgetown, their little shop, where we both got copies of Usagi Yojimbo #2 Color Special, which is just a recoloring of the original first couple of books. I figured it would be nice to let Matty have #1, because
it's very nice.
Yeah, and then all he needs to do is get a #3. Usagi coming to Netflix, and viewers, keep Usagi on the brain. Then my next cool pickup was something that I'm going to start doing, and I'm going to make more of a point to do it. But this is Heavy Metal from November 1979, and I've actually been looking for this copy because that was the month and the year I was hatched into this planet. This is a great Joe Gisco cover. Some great talent in here. Mobius. I mean, if you don't know the beauty of Heavy Metal magazine, you need to just pick one up from the 70s or the 80s and see the slew of talent that was involved in this magazine. I'm just going to read off the names because it's almost disrespectful not to. So in this issue alone, you get Richard Corbin, you get Vaughn Baudet, Mark Baudet, Charles Vess, Michael Moorcock, Mobius, Howard Chaykin, and like I said, the cover, Joe Gisco.
Sick.
That's just one issue. You pick up other issues, you get Walt Simonson, you get Bernie Wrightson, you get everybody. You get Boris Vallejo, you get Frank Frazetta. So it's just the who's who of the greatest artists that came up in the 70s and the 80s and the late 60s.
I have to get back into collecting magazines, don't I?
Yeah, you do. You do.
It's such an inconvenient format, but you know what? It's only inconvenient to ship. It's only inconvenient to ship with other stuff for me. So basically, I just need to buy it for myself and not sell it.
There's a magazine box sitting on that shelf that is, every once in a while I'll pluck from it because I do buy Savage Swords of Conan when I find them in bulk. But, you got your early Turtles is magazine size. You get Marvel Premiere, Marvel Preview magazines. You get the original Marvel graphic novels only in that size. And they are... Vampirella, yeah. Right. The Warren magazines. As much as an inconvenience as it can be, there's so much in there that you will never find again published anywhere else.
Right. Yeah, the format is so cool. The art's You get a variety of artists.
You get bigger art.
Yeah.
More
painted stuff. Yeah. These were just again like impulse buys. Didn't really check the price because I'm like that. But 2 video game covers, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Thought they'd make
2 video game covers. Like these 2 go hand in hand.
They totally go hand in hand. They were in the arcades at the same damn time. I was good at playing both of these games, better at Mortal Kombat, but that's another story. Street Fighter was also a newsstand, which sweetened the deal. And this was really, really, really high grade. You know, I also like video game covers that take from the video gameplay in some way, like the menu screen or whatever. So this looks like the character selection.
Mortal Kombat!
And then you sing the song wrong.
Right, sing the song for us, Matty. Woo! Yeah, so that's wrong.
Yeah.
It's Mortal Kombat. Fight.
Dun 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 dun. Mine goes dun 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 dun. So
just a little bit of history. If you haven't, please watch the video of me and Matty doing our like hour-and-a-half conversation about like getting into comic selling, you know, like your origin story, my origin story. Because then I asked you to come out here to help me kind of like help me organize and do a claim sale. Just have fun and come see how I get my books. Like give you some of the knowledge of how I obtain collections and stuff like that.
Yep. And also I was gonna sort of consult on some of your big boy books and what to press and clean and
let's form this alliance.
Become stronger.
Yes, as one.
Yes.
Mark Spector and Stephen Grant. And get the power of Arthur Harrow. Get the power of Khonshu. We've been watching way too much Moon Knight.
Yeah, as you all know, I am big into the independent stuff, and we did pick up a lot of weird, offbeat stuff, but we got to get into the superheroics that I bought. Thor, God of Thunder, #1, the beginning of the Jason Aaron run, and the first mention of gore. And if you are asleep, then you didn't know that the next movie to come out from Marvel after Doctor Strange is going to be Thor, Love and Thunder, based on a lot of this run.
When does that movie come out? I think it's for gore and
7 years from now.
Yeah, that's right.
The biggest superhero-ish book that I picked up, I got a little bit of a steal on this Uncanny X-Men #266. First cover, second appearance of Gambit, newsstand, and it's like a 9.4, 9.6. What do you got there?
All right, these were just man, these look like dog shit compared to that one. Tales of the Jedi, Lords of the Sith said this is an ash can with some playing cards in it. They're cool.
And they're trading cards.
Trading cards, so you can play a game if you want. Hardcore, #1, from Robert Kirkman. Image Comics. This is an optioned series, sort of in development or maybe production. I don't know. But it was $4. They clearly missed that one.
Yeah.
I picked up not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of this book this week. I'd never seen a glow-in-the-dark Max before, and then I saw 3 of them. So I got a good deal on the first 2. I sold 1 at our claim sale. And then I found another one for cheaper, so I picked it up for cheap.
Western Washington just doesn't have any Max glow-in-the-dark covers now.
Yeah, I'm just...
Yep. Sometimes you gotta be the succubus of the comic industry.
You do. Caliber presents #5. Dave, this guy...
Me.
...got me into looking for... What's the issue number of Caliber?
Caliber presents #1, the first appearance of the Crow.
#1 is the first appearance of the Crow.
Yeah.
First appearance, y'all. Don't sleep.
Right? Like, we've been having this conversation about how it's kind of wild that the Crow #1 is a more expensive comic than Caliber presents #1. And Crow #1's the second appearance, first solo series, first cover maybe?
Yeah.
But still doesn't add up. I don't know where Caliber was published out of, but I do see a lot of it on the West Coast.
Yeah. It must be somewhere out here.
Yeah.
This was issue 5, and it is a cover by Joe Barr. So I dig it. I like the cover. I like its relation to the Crow, and I picked up some other Crow as well that I didn't hold the show, but just pulling crow
You're
related
eating crow,
things.
yeah.
I'm eating crow.
Getting back to where we were at, Destiny City Comics.
Destiny's Child comics.
Destiny's Child Comics, all the single ladies. Ethan, the owner, good dude, posts a lot of stuff on Instagram, or as he calls it, comic shit post. But he posts when he has new books coming in. And I saw this on Thursday night. Sandman number 8, first appearance of Death. Sandman, my all-time favorite comic. But here's the kicker. When he posted it, he posted what was in the interior. Malcolm Jones, one of the artists, hand signed here, and Neil Gaiman, one of the greatest to ever write in the medium of anything, signed on the inside cover. Don't need to worry about authenticity. I've met Neil a bunch of times. I used to work for a nonprofit that Neil was part of, so I know what a Neil Gaiman signature looks like. And even though I paid $138 for this, it is well worth it. Well worth it. My second copy that I own of one of my favorite comics, of one of my favorite characters, by my favorite writer. You can't put a price on that.
Are you pumped for the show?
Oh, I'm pumped for the show.
Yeah.
I know the show's going to be great because Neil's involved.
He's involved.
Yeah, we went to the store that had recently expanded that I haven't been to in probably about a year. And I was excited to check it out just because it was like, oh, new store, or like expanded store, more room to show their comics. And we picked up some fucking amazing books. Mm-hmm. You know, to the point of like, we didn't horribly underpay in a way that like I felt like I fleeced somebody. But god damn it, this guy priced them, and he priced them to move.
Yeah. This one was
horribly underpriced.
This was horribly underpriced, but it's one of those variants that people weren't necessarily aware of until probably the last year.
Okay.
So it's Witchblade number 161, and as we know, John Tyler Christopher is famous for his negative covers, and this is his first one. So I remember seeing multiple YouTube talk shows call this cover out and just being like, huh, that's nice, like,
right,
but not like going after it necessarily. And I haven't even been tracking how much it goes for or anything, because it's not something I've been trying to get.
Why don't we tell our loyal viewers, because I'm not a negative guy, I'm not a negative space guy, what's the historic importance of this book, and also what is a negative?
Negative space art basically, takes an element of the figure or his or her clothing and makes it bleed into the background. So it's sort of, we aren't seeing the outline of her body, but it's implied by the context of... It became famous with the Banana Wolverine. That was sort of a C2E2 exclusive right before COVID. I remember it came out while I was in LA, and I remember buying one for like $50 from a guy.
Oh god, I was
scalping
at that
it
C2E2. That was 2019,
yeah,
right?
2019.
Oops.
They've basically been worth $250 at least ever since. And then he made a million other negative space, but this was his first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got the little JTC down here, and so this is a $3 pickup, and I did not know how much it was worth till we looked it up later. It
right?
goes for
yeah,
over $150.
$150.
Yeah,
crazy
so
stuff.
that's a great grab. This is one. It's ironic I bought this on the West Coast because I'm a Boston boy. But this is
asshole. Go back to Fenway Park.
I know. I gotta pack the car over there. This is tick number 1. Unfortunately, not the first print because that's essentially as rare as like Turtles one. Yeah. It's like a limited 3,000 copy release that's all white background. So this one is actually known as the reprint issue, and who knows how many they made. Still not easy to find, and especially in high grade. And this is a really nice copy. And in the flagship store of this company, New England Comics, back home, that used to be my main LCS in Quincy, Mass. They had this up on the wall for $175 at some point, and it was probably not as nice copy, and I was able to get this here for $50.
It's crazy.
So I'm really happy to add it to my collection.
Speaking of crazy deals, that same store, guy showed us his little short box of keys. And the first thing I saw was a couple of issues of Albedo. Albedo, published by Steve Galacci in the 80s, probably. Yeah, 1985. Number 2 features the first appearance of Usagi Yojimbo. Arguably, the second biggest copper key. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the biggest copper key that exists. Books first print sometimes go for $250,000.
Right. And
This
it's ahead of The Crow, I would say, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
far ahead.
Yeah.
Because it was self-published.
Yeah.
So this is Albedo number 4, second cover appearance of Usagi Yojimbo.
Yep.
The third appearance of Usagi Yojimbo, and it's hand signed by Steve Galacci right on the cover. Galacci was the guy who gave Stan Sakai the publishing. You know, he published Stan Sakai's. You know, it's like Stan Lee for Usagi Yojimbo or something like that.
Yeah.
But what a great cover. I paid only $50 for this. I can't imagine there's more than several thousand copies of this. Maybe 10,000 were produced in 1985. But how about this? For $10 cheaper, I got a copy of Albedo number 3, the second full appearance of Usagi Yojimbo, for $40. Both of these books, super clean. I can't see them being anything less than a 9092. Mind blown. Just absolutely mind blown to have these two comics now. And Usagi Yojimbo is, I mean, Albedo number 2 is a $10,000 comic.
Yeah, and I've heard people talk about second appearance values as often trending about 1/10 of the value of the first print, of the first appearance, and it's way behind that still.
Yeah, these are both horribly undervalued.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're in such great condition, the one that has the signature of Steve Galacci probably wouldn't devalue it, because it's like, it's something from it's a guy that's not as well known, but it's like his names are all over these books.
Yeah, like just because you can't send it to CGC doesn't mean you can keep it raw. You can give it to CBCS.
I've been letting the Stan Sakai Usagi Yojimbo stuff come into my universe over the last 6 months, and I nailed a number 1, and I'm trying to let my universe be accepting to finding a number 2.
Yes, I've seen you trying to lay tracks for that.
Yes, and I won't go into specifics, but hopefully within the parameters of the next 6 months, that maybe I'll have a line on getting a number 2. My love for Usagi is only more recent.
Yeah.
I like Turtles.
Yes, I know you.
No, but with Turtles, it's like something that, as Turtles fans, as kids, Usagi was there.
Yes.
I don't know if you were.
I was aware of him, but I didn't really understand the correlation.
Yeah, I had the figure.
Right.
He was in the animated show. But being a Seattle Tacoma resident, and Fantagraphics has been publishing Usagi since his main title, so I've been finding stuff. I've been, going in and out of it, and now I'm just like full force into Turtles and Usagi, and I get the luster of trying to find this stuff because it is so rare. So,
and also like with a lot of things where there's a first wave of nostalgia for like trying to go after stuff that you liked when you were a kid. There's also the second wave of like realizing how truly rare a lot of the stuff related to those properties is. So you could think of it with like G.I. Joe, or like with Transformers or any of these properties, especially now, just all the nostalgia stuff just keeps going up and up. So, but especially with something that originated in the indie space.
Like you go back and listen to a band that you really like, and you start discovering the things that they were influenced by. Then it's the same with comics. It's like I always knew the Turtles. I always liked the Turtles. I read a lot of that stuff as a kid. But now I'm like, oh, cool. I have the money. I have the means to start exploring the stuff that was in that universe.
Right. Also, Stan Sakai just seems like such a great guy and such an amazing creator.
Amazing
so generous
artist.
And unique.
Yeah.
There's no one like him, even though, Eastman and Laird made something adjacent.
Yeah.
Like he's doing something different with like Japanese folklore and like culture than, I've ever seen before.
His art actually has not just been great the whole time, it's gotten better and better, and like he's also like a known designer for a lot of things. How do you feel about like this area and like hunting for books and doing like kind of my style?
It's a blast. It's been so fun being here. I love this area anyway, and as we were talking about the other day, like I love having kind of a mission when I go visit someplace, like whether it's playing music or making a movie or whatever. Like
Porno.
Thought we weren't going to talk about that.
Snuff film.
Better. Regardless, it's just nice to have something fun to do, like set goal for yourself when you go someplace. In this case, it was just like, and it's also, this is like a funcation, like a work funcation.
Right.
It's like we're working, we're selling books together, we're like helping strengthen our businesses and stuff, and like
our IP,
our biceps and everything. It's just fun all around. It's also like a different way of hunting books than I mostly have experience with. I mean, I've been to cons, I do dig in shops and stuff, but I feel like this area is a lot more diverse for resources, a lot of different kinds of shops and different kinds of opportunities
around this country. Like there's stuff you find certain places that you don't find anywhere else, and it's really a fact. I haven't really done the hunting I want to do back home in New York since I really got back into it, but you come out here and a lot of that indie stuff existed. I'd like to hunt in Arizona. Yeah. Because that's where McFarlane's based out of and has been for years. So I'd like to see if there's more higher concentration of spawn. Sure. Portland's got a nice little, like, this stuff because all the other indie, publishers are down there. But yeah, I love this shit. And I have so much fun doing it. And it was, like, fun to do it with you because, like, I know how me and Dave do our digging and, like, the stuff that he pulls out. And me and Joe, and now I know how me and you, and like, I think you're my closest to like laser eyes and knowing what it is.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you're the closest because like you're starting.
I was waiting for him to say that.
Yeah, like he knows modern more than I do, but your indie knowledge is like there's certain stuff that I found that you don't know, but there's stuff that you knew that I didn't. Right. So like it makes a good team effort. Definitely. Thank you for joining. Thank you to Matty for making the trek, 2,800-mile trek. Give this guy a follow. You'll find his links in the description below, but it's MMCOMICSALES across the board, right?
Right. MMCOMICS on YouTube.
Look for his sales every Thursday, starting in between the hours of later and late. And please like, follow, subscribe, both of our YouTubes. Leave a comment below. Tell us how you think our heads are like two eggs. Chrome domes, whatever you want. We don't take offense. No, and if you try and offend me, I'll bite you. Yeah. I'll eat your children.
If you have hair, enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. What was I saying? Arthur Harrow.
Thanks for having me, Dave. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Oh. And this has been a tag team of the West Coast Avengers!
MMCOMICS edition!
Trash the fucking set. Sonic boom!